Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to the Addict 8 gaming channel where I introduced League of Legends support builds and 4 fun compositions you and your friends can try on Summoner's Rift.
I'll be tilted if you can't be right here.
In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my favorite ice Pokemon in League of Legends, Articuno, or as Riot likes to call her, Anivia. This ice bird makes me laugh every time I get the enemy stuck in my ice storm with my big, fat walls. Unlike other support guides, I'll be specifically going over an off-meta support build with Anivia that you and your duo partner can run in your next game. I'll be going over skills, items, runes, and playstyle in this off-meta Anivia support guide. Anivia received some major buffs that have made her an extremely strong support. Let's go over these recent changes to understand how you too can achieve your solo queue dreams. The first major change was to her Q ability. The faster missile speed with Q makes it significantly easier to land her game-changing stun ability. It will make it much harder for enemies to dodge, meaning you can more often set up plays. The change in damage hurts Anivia's pre-6 wave clear, but as a support, this isn't a major issue. The second major change was to her ultimate ability. Although the damage has been nerfed slightly, the cooldown change from 6 seconds to 4, 3, and 2 seconds from the previous season provides Anivia a lot more utility. You can now very easily reposition your ultimate based on how the teamfight is unfolding, without having to worry about being a sitting duck for 6 whole seconds. What's unique about Anivia is that you can play her the standard mage build path with Liandry's Anguish, but this build I'm about to introduce is going to be a bit more off-meta. I'd highly encourage trying it out before dismissing it. The first item that you will want to build is Mobility Boots. I know this sounds crazy, but let me explain. Mobi Boots allows you to rapidly run or fly to your target when ganking. This significantly increases your chance of landing your Q snowball. Mobi Boots allows you to base, refresh your mana and HP, and then quickly get back on the map. You'll be playing Anivia as a roam heavy support, so early Mobis allows you to apply pressure on the map between your lanes. What's also great about Anivia is she is difficult for the enemy team to catch when roaming, since she has her walls and lots of CC in her kit to zone off enemies with either her snowball or ultimate. After you complete your boots, your first core mythic item will be Locket of the Iron Solari. You might be thinking, I thought Locket was only for tanks. This is generally true, however, since we are playing Anivia support, you don't exactly need that much damage. You want to use your abilities as zoning tools and try to keep your ultimate up as long as possible without dying. Creating a massive area of effect to slow down enemies while ticking away at their health bar will allow your carries to easily win teamfights. An extra AoE shield is also helpful to prevent you and your team from being bursted. Lastly, you will want to build lasagnas for survivability. Staying alive and avoiding CC and burst abilities from enemies means that the enemy will have an extremely difficult time killing you. This build and playstyle for Anivia support is meant to be annoying rather than being damage focused. Enemies not only will have to get through your Zanyas, but then your Locket as well as your Egg. You simply want to stay alive as long as possible while keeping your Glacial Storm up to slowly chip away at your enemies. Here are 2 example final builds for Anivia support. Now, if possible, see if your duo partner can play a non-standard bot laner, specifically Poppy. Poppy synergizes well with Anivia as she can dash into your impromptu walls and instantly stun them using her heroic charge. This is then followed up by your slow-moving Q stun to perma-CC them in the wall and Glacial Storm. By the time the enemy figures out what's going on, they will be 100% gray screened. Poppy wants to build damage items here, so consider buying lethality items such as Duskblade of Drakthar and Collector to quickly one-shot the squishy enemies. Poppy can also build more bruiser items such as Divine Sunderer and Steric's Gauge for slightly more tankier enemies. For runes, Anivia will still want a standard mage rune page. Your keystone rune will be Comet, followed by Manifold Band, Transcendence, and Scorch. Alternatively, if you want a more bursty rune set, you can decide to take the keystone rune Electrocute, followed by Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter. In the secondary precision tree, I like to run Presence of Mind and Coup de Grace. Anivia support can seem tricky at first, but after playing it a few times, it's actually quite straightforward. You essentially want to set up plays for your team to fight by landing your snowball for a 1.1 second stun. Once you land your stun ability, make sure to follow up with an E ability as its damage is doubled if the target is chilled. Once you reach level 6, this is when things get super cool. You want to essentially position your ultimate to not just do damage, but also create space for your carries to fight. Teammates fighting in your Glacial Storm get a huge benefit as the enemy's mobility is severely impaired. Furthermore, you can use your wall ability to trap targets in her ultimate, making it extremely frustrating for the enemy to leave. You want to stay at the edge of her cast range for as long as possible, and try to avoid CC so that your ultimate is up for as long as possible. You can also use your ultimate as a zoning tool to help escape from lost teamfights. With Presence of Mind, your mana will remain relatively full as long as you are applying damage to an enemy. For skill upgrades, I like to start off with 1 point in Q, then max E, Q, then W. If you want wider walls in the mid game to trap the enemy team, consider maxing W after getting at least 3 points in both your E and Q skills. For summoner spells, I take Exhaust if there are many assassins on the enemy team, or Barrier to ensure I stay alive long enough for my ultimate to keep ticking away. You can also take Heal as a summoner spell if your duo partner wants to run a more aggressive summoner spell like Ignite. Remember to use your wall when Poppy is in range for a heroic charge. It's honestly one of the funniest things to see a squishy enemy champion get unexpectedly stunned into the wall while being in the middle of the lane. You can also use your wall to force the enemy to path in certain directions, making it again much easier to land your snowball stun. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit that like button and consider hitting that subscribe button too. It really does help. Also, I do stream League on Twitch, so please feel free to come by and hang out with our community. Check the description box below to know when I go live. If you have any thoughts regarding this off-meta build for Anivia Support, please let me know in the comments below. I'm always open to theory crafting new and exciting support builds to make League of Legends just a little bit more spicy.
Untiltable. Untiltable. Streamers. Untiltable. Untiltable.
That's gonna be, fascinating transition.